Alright, so I actually want to go through this and break it down with you a little bit. Let's skip some of this.
Is in mathematical terms, and then we will consider how that is reflected in understanding the physics. So notation and maths first.
You're going to get a bunch of math.
There is
I
a
have to
thing
condense it down to a page and do a bunch of fractal geometry with it and figure out the position of the orientation, really, of the quadrants of when does one cut off and the next one begin. They look the same.
Where you'll notice the brackets
now for psychological reasons, because that's where I like to start this stuff, is A equals this, because Dirac could be me.
The reason he had a bra,
but from relative to this kitty, I'm the bra.
You get bracket. Not very inventive.
But when we work together, we get some Z-boson stuff going on and some reactions of these things colliding together.
As I've said, by A,
Hadron Collider.
Can also be represented as a column.
So let's go to light on, light off,
A1, A2,
voltage,
A3,
for alphas
all
in
the way
here,
down to
under a certain
AN,
standard for spectrums of polarization. We're saying that it has an extreme high and extreme low. There's also a main vector of commonly, if it cannot be this, it is one of these other subcolumns. This is baryonic normal matter. This is dark matter, even though it's a regular person. Right? And then you get into a lot of why one is dark matter, and by scales of geometry, you get into dark energy, and but one is the other, they're the same thing. They work mathematically the same. You'll have to black body that thing, put it on a graph, have to figure it out using whatever math you had there to figure out Planck length and quantum mechanics. They say that eventually it'll go to 1 over 2 in quantum mechanics, or 1 over 1 plus 2, 1, right?
Complex number, which
basically 1 over 1 is 0, 0 squared.
A real number, that can be any number you like, x, plus
but z equals x,
the
alright.
imaginary number times a real number y.
So
where an imaginary number is the
now,
square root
what do we know
of
about
-1?
x equals z?
So called because there is no such thing
Value
as the square
proof.
root of -1.
And he actually gets into
solution
that in this
to the
video
square
somewhere
root
down here. I think
of -1. It is
I think he
imaginary.
actually calls it the acid
So a
test, and
complex
that's where it's
number
like, oh, I'll
consists
do
of
one
a
backwards
real
after
number
we just did it twice.
plus
I'm gonna cut
another
that
real
stuff out of
number
there.
but multiplied by the square root of -1. And the two, of course, do not easily
And then you got to make the physics for
now
this
you
as
can
well.
represent a complex number on what's called the complex
What is
plane,
light?
which is essentially a graph. We would normally
It says
call
inside
this
of
the
here, I caught it
x-axis
between here and
this
here, and
the
it moved causally.
y-axis.
This line
But what we
is
now do on a
graph and
complex
stone,
plane is we
graph
call
and
this the
Penrose
real
on
axis. That's
what
where
I'm
the real number
quantifying
will
to
be
be
shown.
that first value.
This is the imaginary axis.
That mathematics
So
polarizes
if we
it.
have
Plays
a
to
vector that is x plus
Feynman
iy,
diagrams,
that means that we show
Fermilab,
x,
you
which
know,
is
the
the
way
real number on
you
the
do
real
and/or
plane,
gates,
or the real,
resistor, an LED.
axis. And we
They're going to be
show
on the scale,
y, which is the
and they
value
don't
of
have
the
positive and
imaginary
negative
number
charge,
on
even
the
though sometimes it looks like the
imaginary
Game Boy
axis.
schematic.
That means that the actual vector itself
is actually in this square. Some
Z
other polarized frame
will
and
equal
ZBrush for the
x
skull on
plus
4-2. You know
I,
what I mean?
y.
Or
That's
land
the way we
topology
represent it.
to determine, you
So
know,
z equals x plus I,
which
y.
way is
And you can see
orientated
that the
up,
modulus
you know,
of z,
because it
that
might
is
be
to
relative.
say,
It might be
the
polarized
actual
in some
length
way
of
where
this vector,
on that
and I'll say
45
squared,
it's
is
negative
equal to,
1,
by
0,
Pythagoras,
1.
that is simply going to be
What I mean
this
by that is
squared
1
plus
is
this squared,
beneficial.
which
Or
is
well,
x
1 would
squared
be beneficial up
plus
here
y
because it would be
squared. So
1,
the
1,
modulus,
2,
or in other
2,
words, the
3,
length
3,
of the
but a
vector,
1,
which is the combination
2,
of the real
1.
plus the imaginary part.
Maybe not as
is
good if I needed
simply
it to
said
be
by,
over this line and before
simply given by
changing
Pythagoras.
the polarizing. So
Now I mentioned a thing called a
they're trying to
complex
shoot some
conjugate,
Land Rovers
which
up on
we
Venus,
denoted by putting an
and they gotta
asterisk
they can't use
above the number.
regular
That
silica.
means the complex conjugate of z.
It's got to be all
And what is
mechanical
this weird thing?
and
Well, it
using
couldn't be simpler.
wind or
It's simply
heat
the
or
same value of x, but you change the sign of the imaginary
so,
term.
like I said, it helps you
So
polarize
if
the
Z
value
is
of
X
this.
plus
You would see it
IY,
moving momentum
the
and headed
complex
off. You
conjugate
would be moving
is
causally in
X
front of that
minus
momentum,
IY.
and
And you can, I
by
think,
graphing
easily see that the
specifically,
complex
they teach you how to
conjugate
graph. That's
of the
this
complex
is a fun little
conjugate, if you do
pseudocode
it twice,
to take down, but like I said, you're going to
that
have
will
to
be you
input
change the
values.
sign
Johnny,
again
equals
and you get back to where you
Larry
started.
plus IX
So
or
the
minus
complex conjugate of a complex conjugate
in this figure.
is the number you started with.
That would be
And I can
complex
represent
conjugate
this
of
complex
the
conjugate
complex number you
also
started
on the
with, which
complex
has
plane.
an irrational value. He
X
does shit
remains the same,
this
so
way
the
every
x
week.
dimension
I
will
have
be
a
the
bear that
same.
gets in my garbage
But
every
the imaginary
Friday.
term has changed signs. So now we are going to be at minus y, and consequently
I'm looking at you, you motherfucker.
vector z complex conjugate is
Turned
going to
upside
be
down, you do the twister theory for Penrose.
denoted in that way. You'll notice that
Penrose,
the
that bear come
modulus, the
around.
length of this vector squared, is still going to be x squared plus y squared, because you're going to get x squared
Lambda,
plus
rabbit
minus
calc. You
y
think
all
rabbit calc
squared.
is all this
and minus
horseshit?
y
No,
all
it's
squared,
going
of course,
out
is
there
plus
in that field and
x plus
finding
y
counting
squared.
rabbits,
So the
catching which one to
modulus of
breed,
z
and
and
then
the
what you
modulus of
do it
z
wrong,
star
and then
of
you
the
don't
complex
count the
conjugate
fish or anything
is always
else on the
going to be
farm. The
x
cat
squared
bolting out of
plus
the
y
barn.
squared. But I want to draw your attention to something rather interesting, which is that if you multiply z by its complex conjugate, you're going to get x plus iy multiplied by its complex conjugate, x minus iy.
You're not allowed to use x in this kind of math, but you are.
And what you're going to get there is x squared. The plus iy
Is
x
it though?
will cancel
Is it a
the
photon?
minus
You damn
iy
right it is.
x.
And then you get this one. Well, then
So
this
you're
one
now
can't
just
be a
going to be left
photon,
with
is it? Well, it depends
iy
on the
times
complex
minus
conjugate. I mean,
iy, which is minus I squared y squared.
you can. This is a Feynman diagram, but you don't know where it started
So
because
minus
it's
I
polarized.
squared
It's
is plus
polarized
1,
by.
and that will give you plus y
This
squared.
is 0. This is the Big Bang. It's still being the Big Bang.
The complex number times its complex conjugate gives you the same result
And then get you
as
that
the
difference of why
modulus of that number
Planck
squared.
versus Jeans
modulus of z
and
squared
somebody
was
else
x
to
squared plus
actually
y squared
determine the
from
sun's temperature at
Pythagoras.
about
But you
6,000
get
Kelvin.
the same
something.
result if you multiply the number by its complex
If it was a blue
conjugate.
giant, it'd be
And
running
that
in the
will be
7K
important
territory because it
when
would
we
be
get
blue.
to some of the
And
physics of
it'd be
quantum
red dwarf
mechanics.
because it'd be running about red.
I hope
Which
you
gives
will
you all
see
kinds of
that
numbers
if
inverted about the
Z
helicopter on
is
Mars
just
that
a real
helps
number,
you
e.g.
determine the
2.
composition of what's in the
Then
air
z star
on the
also
sound
equals
waves that
2,
it made from NASA
because
and just
you
failure
only
proof those
change
kids right in
the
the ground
imaginary
and
term.
call it a day. Keep
change the
digging.
sign of the imaginary term.
Catch you on the next
If you
one.
don't